Welcome into the Weekend Sports Buzz right here on 1450 AM. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker, 9 to 11.
How you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing great. It's a special show today. I know nobody. It's still 1450. We're still, killing it with the 1450 crew and 1450sportsbuzz.com. That sounds great right there, Matt.
Oh yeah,
that sounds great.
So much better.
Matt McCarthy, the producer, and Adam, the producer, just getting it done. But yeah, we're back to the TV show. We're doing the little combo, our radio gig plus our video show, which is fantastic.
Very Dan Patrick-esque of us.
It is. It's
Mike and Mike in the morning.
Beautiful faces with myself.
Obviously,
and Mark.
If I'd have known we were going to be doing all this, I might have actually done not worn a hat.
No,
but whatever.
You got to be yourself. But yeah, we're going back to the video. It has great highlights throughout the show. During the interviews, like today, we have Chip Cosby coming on at 9:15. Dave Spelker, Chad Bishop from the Bowling Green Daily News, who broke the Bobby News. It'll be good little segments during those interviews. You'll get to see a little background of the guys. You have to tune in. Matt, what is the link, or Adam, either one? What is the link for them to watch the show, or if they would want to take a little gander?
You just go to KentuckySports.co, and then you head over to the very top. It says WSB Live. Click on that link, and there's a live embed of the show.
There you go.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. KentuckySports.co, the little WSB, which is Weekend Sports Buzz Live link. You get to see our beautiful faces and enjoy the show. I promise you, Matt and Adam are going to make it fantastic every Saturday, every Sunday. For the rest, we're going back and getting it going. Mark, it's kind of a slow sports week, I guess, if you want to say so.
Finals. So there's not really any games, but there was a lot of news.
There's a lot of news.
Always
a lot of news. Some basketball news, some recruiting news, some just football news, obviously. Mark Stoops and the gang, they're getting out strong. Maybe a couple guys locally, we can tell you later, might be visiting the Cats.
Yeah, the most interesting piece of news that I got last night was that Florida, the Gators, have only sold 6,500 tickets to the Gator Bowl. I got an email yesterday from the athletic department, the associate athletic director, Steve McLean from Florida. I sent in a request for, just inquiring about ticket sales, and 6,500.
Now, what is their allotment? Do you know?
17.5.
Is that the same split?
Yeah.
Now, where's Louisville? I know they're almost sold out.
Over 14, so they are almost the 17.5, but you can get more. You can get more from the Sugar Bowl. And in any bowl, if once you sell it out, if there's more demand, which I don't know if there really is a lot of demand. I've talked to a lot of Louisville fans this week, and they say that in the past, when I've gone through the ticket office for bowl tickets, I've ended up in the nosebleed sections, and I'm not going to go all this way and sit in the last row. So a lot of people have gone to Ticketmaster, they've gone to StubHub, they've gone through ticket brokers and paid a better premium for these better seats. The tickets that are left are in the 600 levels, and
probably too many more may not go.
Well, no, thanks to a generous donation from Papa John's, they have reduced the price of the remaining upper level seats. So if you were kind of on the fence about going because the Sugar Bowl is the smallest venue and also the highest ticket price,
which is weird.
Well, they want to make the same amount of money, per game, and so they have to compensate for that with ticket prices sometimes. So the way this works is now, if you were on the fence about going, maybe because of cost, you can get a ticket to the Sugar Bowl for $65.
That's a good little deal. I mean,
if you can
get a hotel room, you can afford the gas there and back.
And the hotel rooms have been reduced because the Florida Gators aren't traveling.
Obviously.
I mean, 6,500 tickets to the school, that's not.
We talked about I saw your tweet yesterday. You can follow Mark at UofL Sheriff 50. You can follow myself, Bloyd, KentuckySports.co. We were tweeting back and forth yesterday about that. I saw that when you sent that out, it was interesting to me that surprises the heck out of me. I know it sounds stupid, is what I said to you, that they might rather see the national championship.
Right, but it's
what? Stupid, I know.
But they were 7-6 last year. 7-6. They had to win the Gator Bowl against another 6-6 Ohio State team to get that 7th win, to actually have a winning season. If they had lost, they'd have had a losing season. Now they're 11-1. That one loss to Georgia cost them a chance at the SEC East, the SEC championship, and the national championship. So one loss really destroyed their entire year. Can you tell me whether or not if Florida had won that game, would they be selling 6,500 tickets for the BCS national championship right now?
No, it'd be sold out.
It would be absolutely sold
Kentucky,
out.
anybody would sell it. I'm sure Bama and Notre Dame sold theirs out as soon as they knew they could buy them.
Exactly. I mean, Louisville's going to sell 17,500. I feel really confident. 2 weeks, they'll be gone. Okay, because they're going to be in hand at the ticket office next week on the 19th. So people can go up, see exactly where their tickets are, purchase them for the low, low price of $65, which is incredible. But, you know, I mean, for a BCS bowl game, this is going to be the 16-year anniversary of Florida's national championship, first ever.
I remember I saw that as well. 1997. Who's our quarterback?
Danny Werfel, and their head coach was Steve Spurrier, both Heisman Trophy winners. I just think that's another reason for me to go if I'm a Florida Gator fan. You know what I mean? So I don't care. We're gonna go to Bourbon Street. It could be empty.
We're gonna have
empty.
It's not gonna be empty.
It could be all over.
You already know that.
I'll be happy.
It might be kind of like the Final Four with UK and UofL. I mean, people that were down there said it was a great time. And the fans seem to be, for most part, generous with each other. You know, the UK UofL.
But
there won't be
were there
that.
more Louisville fans? I mean,
no,
I'm going
to assume no. But it was definitely Louisville. It wasn't a far off number. Louisville traveled, Kentucky traveled, but now it's just Louisville. It's just Louisville. There.
Probably always not hate or regret, but because I had a great time where I was. But I always will miss not being able to go to that Final Four in New Orleans. It's a work thing. And
you were nowhere near the realm of that.
No,
you were in the West Coast.
I was in Napa Valley, California.
That's great, Matt. You said it's on the KentuckySports.co, the video. You click on WSB Live. Where is it?
I may have renamed it. I can't remember what it says.
Yeah, I'm on here and I'm like,
it says something like radio show or something like that.
No,
on the very top right.
Broadcasting.
He's renamed it.
We have Radio Stream.
Radio Stream.
Radio Stream. There you go, everybody. If you want to watch it, Matt lied to you.
Sorry, everyone who couldn't figure that out like Tyler. I apologize.
Hey, there's a lot of people out there. But yeah, we click on the Radio Stream to catch.
There's a lot of people out there with the IQ as high or lower than Tyler's. Not many people lower.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of people that are equal.
If you want to talk about that, then call in line 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, or shoot us a text 414-1450, the Lotus Gunworks text line. Of course, coming up here in just a few minutes, Chip Cosby, CN2 Sports, and Dave Spelker a little bit later in the show, and second hour, Chad Bishop of the Bowling Green Daily News. Before we get to this break, to bring Chip on, Mark, let's go ahead and just get it out there and get it past us. What happened yesterday in Connecticut?
Terrible. I mean,
awful.
How do you use an assault rifle on children?
I mean, how do you use a weapon on children? I don't care if it's a knife. I don't care if it's a BB gun.
Not only that, but I just don't understand. I mean, it's obviously mental illness, but I just don't understand shooting people that you don't know and have no quarrel with.
Crazy.
I can understand if Adam gave me a dirty look, maybe wanting to shoot him, but I wouldn't shoot him. You know what I mean? But I don't understand why this happens to innocent people that people don't know, and in mass quantities. I don't get it. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. This is the second worst massacre in history, behind the one that happened previously. Was it the movie theater? Or no, it was Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech.
Aurora. Yes. You had this thing in Portland over the weekend.
Over in China, a guy stabbed like 20 people and killed him.
And then, in the 90s, they had something similar to what happened in Connecticut, in Scotland. Dunblane, where Andy Murray, the tennis star, his school, same scenario, an entire classroom just completely cornered and murdered senselessly. So
ridiculous.
I hate it. So we can talk about gun control if we want to, but I just don't.
No.
We're sponsored by Lotus Gunworks.
And
we don't. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also don't believe in crazy people.
Exactly.
So I don't. I don't know.
We're not going to get into anything like that. That's not here or there on the Weekend Sports Buzz. But you had to get out there. You got to, prayers to all the victims, all the families, and everybody up in the Newtown, Connecticut area. 26 innocent people were, taken yesterday. It's the lone psycho which is not easy to stop.
No,
I
because you
don't know.
can't see it coming.
You never know when it's coming, especially when you're 20 years old. He's had some issues.
Had issues.
He had issues. If you just shoot yourself. I don't know. Let's go to our break. Again, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. We're going to go ahead and bring Chip Cosby on the line, talking Louisville Sugar Bowl, Kentucky basketball, Louisville basketball, anything around the CN2 sports world. We'll be right back here at 14:15.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line at 384-1450.
Would you yell it from the rooftops down until it's over and you're older? I feel so
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker, 1450 a.m. We'll be taking you through to the 11 o'clock hour. It'll be a fun show we got going on. Of course, Dave Spelker and our man from the Bowling Green Daily News, Chad Bishop, will join us in the second hour. But right now on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, straight from CN2 Sports, Chip Cosby. Chip, good morning to you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on a kind of a short notice yesterday. You know, it's kind of a slow sports week, but obviously we got Louisville Sugar Bowl. We got a big game today for Louisville on the road in basketball. Kentucky, they're home in basketball as well. So let's just start with basketball quickly here, Chip. Louisville's on the road to Memphis. What do you think about today's game, 2:30?
Well, I think it's going to be a tough test for Louisville, obviously. You know, Memphis, you know, they're hungry for a top 25 win. I talked with Garrett Harris, CBS Sports the other day, and he said that, you know, Josh Pastner has never beaten a top 25 team since he took over for John Calipari. I know they had a rough start, lost a couple games in the Bahamas. They're trying to put it all together. So I expect to see a desperate Memphis team with the home crowd, sellout crowd, energized. They're going to come out and give Louisville all they've got. But, you know, I expect the Cars to be ready to answer the bell. You know, this is a battle-tested team. They've played tough games on the road before. I'm expecting a great game. It wouldn't surprise me if Memphis won, but I really think it's going to be a battle that Louisville will probably pull out late.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's going to be Louisville. I guess, Mark, it'd be Louisville's first true road test this season.
Well, you know,
besides
college
neutral,
Charleston, and then the Bahamas. Yeah, so it would be.
It'd be their first one. Memphis, you know, they're 6-2 right now. Wins really over they lost to Minnesota, Tubby Smith's Minnesota team, who is a good team. So it'll be interesting. That game again is at 2:30. The other realm of things, 60 miles down the road, Kentucky versus Lipscomb. Nothing too crazy there, Chip. Kentucky should handle it easily, but, you know, what would you want to look into this game? Maybe Ryan Harrell, the play of Harrell coming off of the last couple weeks of being back in the mold?
Yeah, they need to, you know, they've got the Louisville game, you know, slowly approaching, and I think they need to definitely get Ryan. They need to get their rotation set. I mean,
yeah.
They need to get Harrell comfortable at that point guard position and move Archie, you know, so Archie Goodwin can be a scorer, which is what his natural role is. You know, I think today will obviously give him a chance to do that. Lipscomb's not going to put up much resistance. I expect Harold to have a big game. They need to get Kyle Wiltshire back on track. So they've got a couple of things. You know, they've got 2 or 3 things they need to shore up before the big game in a couple of weeks. And, you know, I think today will give them an opportunity to take some of those steps. Absolutely,
Chip. And, you know, just kind of on that, with Gorgie Zhang sort of, you know, coming off an injury and Kentucky having trouble with its rotation and maybe a slower development than maybe Calipari has wanted to see. How important is the Louisville-Kentucky game to the teams? Because we obviously know it's huge for the fans. And the grand schemes of things, you know, for the team, you know, how big is it for Louisville or Kentucky to win the game?
Well, I think it's big for both of them for different reasons. I think for Louisville it's big because, I mean, I think you need to beat John Calipari. Since he's come back, they haven't beaten him. You know, he's got a national title. And I think the fans are ready. I mean, a lot of people, I think, before the season felt like, you know, Louisville's at home. They've got the more experienced team. This is the year to do it. And now that Kentucky has struggled out of the gate, I think that even puts a little more pressure on Louisville to finally get a win over a John Calipari-coached Kentucky team. For UK, I don't think it's quite as big. Obviously, you know, with UK fans, any loss is a catastrophe, especially a loss to Louisville. But I think Louisville has a little bit more to prove in the matchup, just because I think they're the better team, and if they lose that game at home, then you start to wonder, well, Calipari and Rick Dead, things like that. I think Louisville clearly is the better team again, and they're at home. So I think they probably need it a little more. I don't think, you know, obviously if they lose the game, it's not the end of the season. But just from a perception standpoint, I think it's a game Louisville really needs to win.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, both your hits there on Gorgie and, you know, Ryan Harrell, Kentucky Louisville. Chip Cosby, CN2 Sports, on the line with us right now. I wanted to kind of transition a little bit over to the football side of things. Obviously, Kentucky's Mark Stoops made the good hire there at Kentucky, but Louisville getting very close, Mark, to the Sugar Bowl game versus Florida. Chip, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were. You know, obviously the national media perspective is Florida is going to run over Louisville. They're basically saying that Northern Illinois has a better chance to upset their opponent than Louisville. What are your thoughts about the game?
Well, here's the thing about bowl games. I mean, there's always, you know, outside the national championship game and maybe the Fiesta Bowl, you know, there's only a few bowls where both teams, a lot of times it just matters on who, the key factor is who shows up and wants more. Now, I think if Florida shows up and plays its A game, it's going to be difficult for Louisville to win. Now, I'm not convinced that Florida's going to just come out and wipe the floor with wipe the field with Louisville like a lot of people are. I think the Gators have some question marks offensively. They don't have a great passing game. At the same time, they could line up and just run it down and be vulnerable at times. And Florida's got a big back in Gillespie. But the thing about this, I've seen matchups like this where one team is excited to be there, and it's a big deal. And I think that's Louisville, where there's another team that's kind of just going through the motions. And if you look at the ticket sales, the numbers they were released yesterday, Florida's only sold like 6,500 tickets, while I think Louisville's at 14,000, over 14,000. Clearly, the Florida fans aren't excited. So you wonder if the Florida players are going to come in as motivated for that game as they need to be. If Florida comes out flat, not ready to play, I think Louisville definitely can pull the upset. I think the key for Louisville here, though, fellas, is just got to make it competitive. It'd be nice to get a win, but if you can go in there and go toe-to-toe with Florida, and even a competitive loss, I think bodes well for next season. Now, if they come out there and Florida beats them by 3 or 4 touchdowns, that's really going to, do a number on your preseason ranking for next year. But if they can come out and either win or make it a competitive game, then I think they could start the preseason next year in the top 10. I don't expect it to be a blowout. I really don't. I don't know if Louisville can pull off the win, but I think Florida's offensive question marks, along with, I think maybe a little lack of motivation in the game, I think it gives Louisville a chance.
Absolutely, Chip. I've been researching this game quite a bit, and Florida they seem to just always gain the ball inside their own 50, inside their opponent's 50. So like going in, they always seem to start with short fields, whether it's their defense, whether it's special teams. And Teddy Bridgewater, he doesn't really turn the ball over a lot, and Louisville hasn't really turned the ball over a lot as a team all year. I think that's the key, is to avoid the turnover and make Florida go the distance in this, and I think Louisville will be in the game. So I'm excited. I know Louisville fans are excited everywhere, and I do not think that it will be a blowout in any respect. I got to give the Cards a shot here. Moving on from the Sugar Bowl, we had a really interesting piece of news this week with Bobby Petrino being hired at Western Kentucky. What are your thoughts about Bobby coming back to a head coaching position, particularly here in the state of Kentucky, given what happened in Arkansas and his previous relationship with the fan base here in Louisville?
Well, I think it was only a matter of time before he was going to bounce back. The thing about it, when you're talented and you're good at what you do, you get second and third opportunities. So, I knew at some point Bobby Petrino would get another opportunity. I think it's a good situation for Western. I think they really come out ahead of it in all of this because, you get him, you sign him to a 4-year deal. If he leaves, he owes you $1.2 million. So, and if he leaves after 1 year, you actually make money because
exactly.
He's making $850,000. The $1.2 million buyout, you actually could come out, $350,000 ahead. So, you look at the exposure that Western's getting out of the deal. I mean, they've been all over the national media since the hire. I think it's a low-risk, high-reward situation for them. And, I think Bobby Petrino, he knows this is probably, if he screws up again, he's probably done. So
yeah, for sure.
He wants to get back to the big time, so I think he'll be on his best behavior. They'll win some games. He'll eventually move on, and I think, he'll elevate the program enough in the short time period that he's there that they'll be able to go out and get a good coach. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. Regardless of what you think of Bobby Petrino, he's good at what he does, and he was going to get us another opportunity somewhere, so why not West?
Yeah, I think it's a good hire as well. I mean, like you said, no risk, but nothing but a reward there for Western. And yeah, he won't mess up whatever he does. He will, even if he wants to leave, which most people probably assume he will at one point. I think he will fulfill a contract at least, which is what he should do. Chip, before I do let you go quickly, I just want to see, since Bobby did take over Western, what do you think about Willie Taggart going down to USF?
Again, I think it's a win-win situation. You know, Willie's obviously from that area. The only concern is the with South Florida with the future of the Big East.
Yeah.
But still, he's down there in an area where he'll be able to recruit. I think, it's probably right now a step up from Western Kentucky. I think he'll go down there and win, and he'll set him. Willie Taggart, I think, is going to be a star. I think he's got, the personality, he can recruit. And, I've talked to a lot of people, down in Bowling Green. His X's and O's are underrated as well. So I think it was a good move for Willie, and I think, he'll be there. But I think within 3 or 4 years, you'll see him move up another notch on the totem pole, because I think he's that good.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I knew somebody would look at him. I was thinking Louisiana Tech, maybe a couple. There's a lot of openings, obviously, but South Florida was a good one for him. Chip, anything going on CN2 coming up here soon? Everybody needs to check out the show, obviously. Let them know what times.
Yeah, we've got we're on CN2 Sports. It's on weeknight, 6:30 and 10:30. We'll be out at the King of the Bluegrass tournament on Thursday.
Okay.
Taping the show from there at 7 o'clock. So those of you who want to go see some good high school basketball and, come check out the folks at CN2. We'll be out there Thursday at 7 o'clock. So, again, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on, Chip. Go enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think good points about Bobby and Willie Taggart. I really liked what he said.
Absolutely. In terms of Willie, I thought he could have stayed at Western and waited for a BCS job. I think he should have. If I were him, I would have. But in terms of recruiting, he's going to have a much easier shake recruiting to South Florida than he will at Western, and he'll probably be more prepared for a BCS job, having taken that job. For Bobby Petrino, if I'm Western, I take the risk, but at the same time, I very closely measure how long of a leash I give Bobby Petrino, because he did violate public university hiring practices, by hiring Jessica Durrell above so many other qualified candidates based on the fact that he was having a relationship with her. I hate it for his family to, have gone through all this publicly. It's probably the worst thing imaginable, but that's extremely. It shows an extreme level of disrespect, and really kind of the icing on the cake of disrespect when you hire somebody, not only for the school but for your wife and for that person's life. So there was a lot of different factors going on. Not to mention, because Bob Petrino didn't leave Louisville for LSU, Notre Dame, Auburn. He didn't leave. He left for the Atlanta Falcons for double the money and a chance to coach Mike Vick in his prime. And I have no problem with that. I've never had a problem with that, because I can understand doubling your salary.
Oh yeah.
What Bob Petrino, he has a very, very bad reputation based on the Auburn playing gate that Pat Forty blew the lid on, leaving the Atlanta Falcons with 4 games remaining with a note. And
yep, that was classic.
And and then this whole deal with Jessica Durrell and the Harley Davidson. So he's done a lot, but the media's blown it up a lot more than it really had to be. But a lot of it's kind of like bad luck. And what he needs to do is go into, like you said, fulfill a contract and do right by somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think like I said, I think he will fulfill his contract, whatever. Do you know the exact numbers? I know he's making around I think it was about $1 million.
$850,000.
$850,000.
And the buyout's 1.2, like Chip said.
That's what I was thinking. The buyout.
But basically, yeah, like Chip said, that if he does great this year, and he's going to be the highest paid coach in the Sun Belt, if he does fantastic and Auburn fires somebody, their new hire, and they want Bobby now, they Western makes $350,000. They basically got Bobby Petrino for free for a year, and make $350,000.
I don't think he would leave because I don't think one of those jobs will open for a few years.
No, but there's going to be jobs every year.
Yeah, without a doubt
that he might want.
USC might be a very, very big factor.
And they hired Lane Kiffin.
They don't care about your moral. I mean, look at who they've had.
I mean, Lane Kiffin used his own father as a scapegoat.
Exactly.
So that should tell you enough about that right there. I mean, if I'm a parent, there is no way I send my kid to play for Lane Kiffin and that clown of a man. I mean, he literally I've said it on the air before, he would screw up oxygen. I've said that several times. I mean, there's no way. I wouldn't trust that guy to tie my shoes.
He is very sketchy. Him and USC, and for some reason there was chatter of them possibly looking into letting Kiffin go if he doesn't perform another season. It'd be interesting.
I've never understood a person that his career specifically, because he's never done anything special, but he's sort of always ascended because of his father's reputation.
Tony Romo.
Yeah, well, Tony Romo at least has put up stats.
Yeah, I mean, you have to when you're playing in the NFL and you're a starting quarterback every week. You have to, but he did nothing, and he's really done nothing. That's my example.
I have no idea how he's ever done anything. I mean, I literally, when it comes to Lane Kiffin, there's no way I wouldn't trust that guy to do the simplest of tasks.
I'll tell you one guy.
He farts in the bathtub.
I
guarantee
another
you.
coach I wouldn't trust is Tommy Tuberville. This man left a recruit and mom at dinner to take the Cincinnati job.
True. And then he denied it. And then he didn't even deny it. The school released a statement saying that that's not true. But there's recruits who made their way to middle of nowhere Lubbock, Texas.
Yes.
Who said that this happened. I'm going to go with the recruit.
I'm going with them.
I'm going to go with the group of recruits.
Yes.
Over a university-issued statement who's trying to stand by their newly hired man. I know that Tuberville did not have a great time. His wife killed a person, in a traffic accident while she was there. He was ready to go. I mean, he did not like it there. It was not a good fit and that's something that Tom Jurich talked about, and Charlie Strong when he talked about fit with a community. You know what I mean? That was totally not a good fit for Tommy Tuberville in Lubbock, Texas at Texas Tech. And right now they did not have, for a minute there, they didn't have a head basketball coach or football coach. Gillespie, are you serious?
Gillespie.
Who?
In Gillespie we trust.
You got to question an athletic department that hires that guy.
They hired who else did they hire before? After wait, did you say Gillespie at Texas Tech?
Yes.
He was at Texas A&M.
He was, but then he took the Texas Tech job and then got fired.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They also had Bobby Knight's son.
They also had Bobby
Knight.
and Bobby Knight.
I mean, they talk about a school that doesn't care.
Yeah, and now they have Cliff Kingsbury, who I actually like that hire because he's an alumni, but he's 33 years old, second youngest head coach in college football, and he actually said in his opening press conference, his introductory press conference, that I want to get Cincinnati on the schedule for next year.
That's awesome. I hope he does. That'd be awesome.
Fire up the fan base down there in Lubbock, but I hate it.
Well, kind of like here locally, Bobby Petrino and Western taking on Kentucky and Tennessee next year.
Ooh,
both of them.
How great would it be?
Not great.
I'm just saying, from a
Louisville standpoint,
from a Louisville or just a general storyline standpoint.
Yeah, storyline
for Bobby Petrino to open up the season and beat both UK, SEC. Which just happened. I mean, just happened. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. And then for Western to also somehow beat Tennessee.
I mean, he could totally do it, and then he'd just be like, and you all blackballed me from your conference?
Right. Well, they have a really stacked roster. Willie Taggart's done an incredible job recruiting, so he's going to have athletes.
Oh, he's
they're going to have a quarterback battle because Jakes is leaving. So they have a 6'7" guy, I forget his name, but they also have DeMarcus Smith, a former Elite 11. He's waited 3 years to play college football.
You know who Bobby Petrino loves the arm. DeMarcus Smith, I don't know too much about him.
He has a cannon.
Well, there you go.
I haven't seen him play in 3 years.
Sure,
but
he still does.
Okay, so he had a cannon. We'll see if he still has it. But if you're DeMarcus Smith, you have to be in great football shape because Right now.
They're going to be going full 100 miles an hour.
Get going. Yeah.
It's like basketball here in Kentucky. You're going 100 miles an hour by Petrino. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. 414-1450, the Lotus Gunworks text line. Give us a shout. Shoot us a text. We will read that right over air. We will get your calls right in. Coming up here in the next segment, Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine. We're going to talk a little high school sports with him. Like Chip mentioned, the King of the Bluegrass is coming up. Queen of the Bluegrass as well. James Quick winning the local Paul Horning Award. A lot of high school news going on.
He's on his visit this weekend to the University of Louisville.
And he will be visiting the University of Kentucky. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Get excited.
I'm very excited. We'll be right back here on the Weekend Sports Buzz.
You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line at 384-1450. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line at 384-1450.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz, 1450 a.m. Check us out on 1450 The
You cut
Sports
that
Buzz.
song off. I really wanted to hear that.
That was a very quick rejoin. It was a very quick rejoin. It was. Did you like that song?
I like that song.
was
I
it?
wanted to let it go. I don't know.
See, you're like me. You like the song, but you don't know who sings it at all. I'm awful with music, as in Marcus. Again, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Give us a shout. Get in on this mix. We're talking a lot of UK, UofL stuff today. Louisville Sugar Bowl. Chip Cosby, appreciate him joining us a segment ago. It was a good talk there. Talking Bob Petrino. It still amazes me as I've been thinking about this, since it happened. I think it's a great hire. I'm sorry. I love it.
I like it too.
I have low morals.
I'm just saying from a history perspective,
Yes.
It's a little tough, but I think they answered all the right questions, and we're going to have to just see if Bobby Trino really is the humble guy that we think he might be now. Or at least he should be.
Humble Bobby. But we'll find out. But let's go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. We got our man Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine on the line, talking high school sports. Dave, good morning to you.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We're doing pretty good. Here we're
Fantastic.
We've got back, Dave. We've got back to our video show here. We're obviously on 1450 radio, but we're doing the TV show again, and we got great highlights Matt's doing, and we got a James Quick highlight coming up when we talk him and high school basketball. I mean, it looks beautiful. I'm looking at this screen right now, Dave, and I see your beautiful mug and a Vipe magazine logo right beside it.
That's what Dave looks like. No.
No, it's great. You need to check it out, Dave. I promise you'll appreciate it. But, Dave, Vite Magazine, VipeGreaterLouisville.com. I'm on there right now, and I promise you, this site is loaded with information currently.
Well, we're trying to keep it hopping. There's just so much going on, and there's only so many things fingers can type. But I'm going to start today. I heard a rumor, and it fits right in with what you guys have been talking about with the Bobby Petrino hire. And I'm wondering if you guys had caught this from anywhere. I heard that Bob Beatty might be being offered a spot at Western with Bobby Petrino.
Wow.
I have heard that.
Anywhere?
Yeah, I have heard that, and I saw that Bob Beatty really wouldn't comment on that. So we're going to have to wait until the semester closes at Trinity, I think, before he does anything. So if they come back to spring semester and Bob Beatty is still at Trinity, we know that's not going to happen. So that's your timeline.
That's interesting, though. I didn't know that, Dave. I'm glad you.
Way of looking at it.
That'd be crazy to see Beatty, join him. He'd be a lot of local pull on local players. That would definitely help out there.
Maybe not the top guys, maybe not the Quicks, the Hatches, or the Whites, but there's a lot of really good players at Trinity that could play at Western.
St. X.
Not just this year, but for the next couple of years. So it'd be really interesting.
So at this point, nothing more than a vicious rumor, but it is kind of fun to toss these kinds of things around and let your mind wander a little bit.
Oh yeah, it is. Dave, I'm getting into a little bit of basketball here. I was looking on the site for the Dave Spelker top 10 list of local high school sports teams. I can't find it. Who is Trinity still up there at number 1? Trinity Ballard. Has there been a shift of things?
Well, it should be on there. It's just there may have been so many stories
exactly
after that you might have to go back on the timeline a little bit. But it was posted last Monday morning, and of course we'll have another one posted this Monday morning. But Trinity, by the skin of their teeth, was hanging on to the number 1 spot, and people are like, why Trinity? Why not Ballard? Well, again, in our Vipe world, we. Trinity's been blowing out people. I mean, they just haven't been winning. They have been, they won, by 30 some odd, 40 last night, I think, against Corbin. And, Ballard had that one slip-up loss in that the big tournament. Of course, it was to a nationally ranked team. And, they went over and beat Jeffersonville this week, but it was only by 2 points. Now, Jeffersonville's a good team, don't get me wrong, but, I'm waiting for Ballard to kick it into that next gear when they just start destroying people.
Yeah, I found the Vipe top. I found your top 10 there. Like you said, Jeffersonville and Ballard just took action. You have Jeffersonville at number 6, Ballard at number 2. So, I mean, losing that game, you're not going to drop much. I'll run down the list here.
No, Ballard won that game. So
yeah, that's what I meant.
But they didn't. They had like 31 steals in that game, which is just amazing. But I think they had some shooting problems, which balanced things out, and ultimately they got the win, but not maybe in as grand a style as
as I thought was going to happen. But anyway, both good teams, both deserve the top 10. I'm going to have to make it top 20 because I'm looking here at some teams this morning that deserve to be in there. Providence, I don't think has lost yet. They deserve to be in there. St. X playing well. Butler, Fairdale. Every starter at Fairdale is averaging in double digits. That's amazing.
That is. That's, I mean, being a city team, obviously I don't know who they played. That is amazing for any high school team. Dave, it's the top 10 here. I'm running 10-1. Christian Academy of Louisville, PRP, Eastern, Collins out in Shelby County, Jeffersonville, Indiana, Clarksville, Indiana, Central, Bullitt East, Ballard, Trinity. I see Bullitt East on there. You have Troutman is the man. I believe is it Rusty? Is it Ryan? Which Troutman is this?
Yes. He's been playing fantastic, and actually, I know Willis is the fellow who got most of the ink out there, but Troutman has been carrying that team so far this year.
And he's going to Bellarmine, is that right?
Yeah, guys like that. Yeah, he's heading to Bellarmine, so Scotty's excited, and they're obviously a formidable team when you have two guys that are playing at that level. So.
Oh yeah, they actually took on my alma mater, Oldham County, over the week. I saw some of the highlights of Derek Willis. He's a big guy, and it's hard to guard when you don't really have a guy maybe taller than 6'2" or 6'3" on your team. So he's definitely a star. But like you said, with Troutman going to Bellarmine, his older brother actually played at Bellarmine as well. He's a good. I played him in high school.
Yeah, and the thing that I like the most about Dave's list here is that it's not just Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
It's Southern Indiana too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think and that's what Vipe Magazine's kind of striving for. But I think there needs to be more of this type stuff. Honestly, I love what Dave's doing here with this list. I just got to tell you, Dave.
Yeah, it's on again. It's VipeLouisville.com. You can get on there. It's not just men's. Dave's doing the women, the girls side of things as well. It is good work, Dave.
Well, thank you. We had a really exciting girls game last night. Assumption and Manual squared off, and Manual won. But Assumption definitely deserves to be in that top 10. And then earlier in the week, we had Mercy. Played at E-Town, which on our Vipe list, that was the number 2 and 3 teams going at it. And Mercy got that win. So it's fun. And obviously with these tournaments, I know Chip was talking to you about the King of the Bluegrass and the Queen of the Bluegrass. That's just going to be basketball heaven for high school junkies. That to see a lot of these teams are going to start squaring off and going head to head, and it'll really shake up the list. So. Definitely have the pen and pencil going here, over the next few weeks, and who knows what this list will look like come first of the year. But
yeah, who knows?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, it's a good list, and with the top team. A lot of these teams you have here are very good. For them if they do drop out of the top 10, it won't be far, and I'm sure they'd be right back in. I wanted to kind of switch over to football. I know the football season's over, but there's a very talented kid in the area. James Quick, Trinity High School, it seems we talk about him almost every week, but he just won the local Paul Horning award. I mean, that's huge for the senior star out of Trinity.
That's kudos to James. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year for the state.
Mm-hmm.
He won the Paul Horning award. He's, golly, I mean, who wouldn't want to be this kid? He's the 200-meter record holder in the state. Only kid ever to win a basketball championship and football championship in the same year. Only kid ever to score a touchdown in 4 straight high school championship games. I mean, the list just goes on and on of his accolades, and he's a good kid. I mean, I know you hear this all the time, but I've spoken with him and talked with him, and he's just a great kid, and I just wish him the best wherever he decides. I hope it's Louisville, but wherever he decides, I hope he just has an injury-free and great career, and hope we see him playing on Sundays one day.
Yeah, I think James is I feel really good about where Louisville is with James Quick, and I think that once the Mr. Football Award is announced, then maybe he can be serious about maybe making more of his thoughts public. You know what I mean?
Well, he's saying that he's going to announce during that Army All-Star game. I think it's January the 5th that he and Jason Hatcher are going to play down in San Antonio.
Absolutely.
Which is odd, that's interesting to me because we haven't talked about it yet, Dave, but, Hatcher is actually visiting Kentucky, and James Quick both visiting Kentucky after that date. I don't understand that, Mark. I think Hatcher was visiting UK on the 11th.
Well, you can make commitments all the way up till signing day.
I know.
I mean, you can do whatever you want till signing day.
I mean, if you're going to be on national TV like they are, you would assume that they wouldn't take a visit after that. It's just it's interesting. We could talk about that another time. Dave, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, in the high school world, it's not just football and basketball. What about the smaller sports around? It's the winter time. What's going on? Anything special coming up? Maybe like the bowling tournament y'all had last month.
Well, actually, right now, as we speak, Jeffersonville is having a pancake breakfast over there. And if I'm looking at the clock, if I can get in the car and get over there, I'd love to help them out. Danny Struck is the coach there, and he is phenomenal with his Red Devils. Big wrestling meet at Jeffersonville today. They've got a silent auction, very cool stuff up for grabs. So even if you can't make the breakfast, he's just really got this team playing well. He's got state-ranked players. His team is one of the top 50 recognized programs in the nation. We had him on Mason and Myers this past week, and he's just an all-around great guy. He was a winner of one of our Coach versus Food eating contests at the BW3. So he'll take one for the team at any time. So big wrestling match going on there. St. X wrestlers just won a big meet at Ryle this last week at this time. They beat the defending state champ Campbell County. So wrestling is underway. We had an article in the last Vipe about the Moore wrestling team. They're doing very well. So, yeah, I mean, it's not just basketball going on. We've got the wrestlers and swimming. I don't have any meets to report on right now, but swimming is in full swing. I know the local hockey teams, ice hockey teams, I think are up in Dayton this weekend for a big tournament. So it's all happening.
Yeah, it is. It's a loaded time. Obviously the high school sports, when it gets to the winter sports time, and fall, winter, and the whole time, it's a loaded schedule for the kids throughout the area. So, Dave, we appreciate all the work Vipe Magazine has been doing. We appreciate being with you with KentuckySports.co. You can pick up a Vipe Magazine at all the local libraries, local middle schools, high schools. If your students there, have them bring you home one. Dick's Sporting Goods, Kroger's, moms and pop stores throughout the town. Grab it. I promise you will enjoy reading all these pieces in there.
Well, thanks, guys. You do a great service to local high school sports, and we very much appreciate that, as do all the players, moms and dads, and grandmas and grandpas.
There you go, Dave. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. I think we'll be talking to you tomorrow about something special we have lined up for everybody.
You're exactly right. So we'll keep that under the hat for now, but it'd be worth tuning in for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You might be able to win something. Dave, enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
You too, guys. See you.
I'm a definite high school sports. I'm a sports fanatic. I love sports.
You are.
I am. I don't care what it is. Matt's laughing over there like, oh, you are. But no, I enjoy it. I can go out and watch, a high school. Maybe not so much the football. It's a long process. I enjoy it, watching the Oldham County. But basketball.
You have a short attention span.
I have a short attention span.
Can't do football.
Can't really do the football at high school, but basketball, I'll be out there all day long and watch the high school basketball. This King of Bluegrass coming up, like Chip and Dave both mentioned. Have you ever been to that? Have you ever
I have been. I've been several times, and
it's fun.
It's a great event. I like it when they bring the teams from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they have that one visiting team or whatever.
Everybody's like, they're here.
They're here, and then I like to see how they do. In that tournament. So it's always fun to watch.
Kentucky sports, I was throughout the early 2000s, I guess, when I was in school, and it was Kentucky was good in sports. Obviously, every state has good athletes, but it seems to be able to last 3-5 years. The athletes throughout the whole state are just slowly blossoming.
I think so.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it really has been, and I think maybe some of that has to do with certain schools maybe consolidating some of that talent a little bit better. So maybe the haves and the have-nots are maybe dividing a little bit more, and because you see a lot of the schools, but that makes it more fun. You know what I mean? When you have a great pool of athletes in certain schools, then now you have a more competitive thing to sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Just a minute or so left here in the first hour. It was a good hour. If anybody wants to get in, 384-1450. Everybody's waking up late on their Saturday morning here. It feels good out there. It's not freezing.
It's not cold.
It's not,
you don't even need a jacket right now.
It feels kind of like golf weather.
Go ahead.
Matt's big head just broke a headset. It was just sitting on there. I don't know how that
He does
happens.
have an enormous head.
I can't see the giant 80-inch behind him. because Matt's head
Small
is slightly
objects
big.
seem to float around his head.
It is true. And, of course, the Lotus Gunworks text line, 414-1450. Get in there. Shoot Matt a text, Adam a text, Douglas a text. We'll read that. We will read that right over there. I couldn't get it out. It was weird. I do want to say this, Mark, because of what happened over the week. Totally off topic of local sports. But New York Yankee Dave Winfield became the highest paid player 10 years, $15 million. That was in 1980. Now what just happened?
What just happened? I don't know. You tell me.
Josh Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
Look how much money they're getting. On $125 million 5 years. He's making $25 million a year. He made $15 million over 10 years, and that was the highest paid.
That's still in 1980. That's probably the time value of money.
Yeah.
Winfield's is probably worth more than Hamilton's today.
You think?
I will have to get out our calculators.
I saw that. That's why I wanted to kind of compare the two. It's interesting.
But it would be interesting. I'd like to see the time value of money on that. See how inflation is affected.
Can you do that?
Well, I'll see if I can find an app.
Can you?
Because I'm not going to do it myself. But no, Josh Hamilton, that's a ton of money for a guy that strikes out as much as he does.
And gets hurt.
And he gets hurt a lot. But they have a lot of power in that Los Angeles Angels.
And a lot of money sinked into three players.
But they honestly, they have it.
I know.
You know what I mean?
They don't have any pitchers, though. Cincinnati Reds win World Series. That's all that matters. Let's go to our break here. Just the weekend sports buzz.
Scout.
You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
How do I say that I need to move on? You know we had this separate ways.
Oh.
And it feels like I am just too close to love you.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. We had to let that play out a little bit.
There's nothing I can really
All right,
Let it keep going.
that's a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little too long. Now it's just awkward. But we did look up at the break.
Yeah.
Dave Winfield's $15 million salary today.
10 years, $15 million of 1980.
Oh, 10 years, $15 million.
Yes.
So it was 1.5 a year?
Yes.
Jeez. Okay. In today's money, that would be $42 million.
$42 million. That's
$42 million today is what $15 million would
so
be
his
worth.
contract doesn't even compare to half the people in baseball.
No.
I mean, he's getting paid bank, obviously.
He's
but,
making a ton of money.
But he's in the middle of the pack.
Right. Josh
bigger
Hamilton.
All-Stars.
5 years, right?
5 years.
$125 million.
He's making $25 million a year. What do you do with that type of money as a baseball player? I don't know. I want you to call and tell me.
You play 162 games a year.
Yeah, you're busy
You're at the
for
ballpark.
280 of the year with baseball.
Yeah, that's
Traveling.
why football players are the smartest guys. Yeah, do they know they don't make Major League Baseball money, but they only have 16 games a year.
They're not busy
If
for
they're not making the playoffs.
99% of the season with football.
Which
I
is
mean,
why they get in so much trouble.
if I could be in the MLB and be busy being rich, I'd be totally do it.
Let's just think about it. If I'm broke as everybody else in the world,
You're
okay?
not.
If I am, okay, which I am, but if I am, and then all of a sudden I play a sport and I make,
$21
most of these
million.
guys make $2 or $3 million. That's like the average. And now I'm making $2 or $3 million, and I don't have all that much time, or I have all kinds of time.
I party.
I'm probably gonna get into some trouble.
Probably Josh Hamilton. He needs nothing but no time.
Yeah, so baseball is perfect sport for him.
Perfect sport for him.
Yeah, in fact, he probably needs to go play in the Mexican League and several
Off
other
seasons.
leagues. Yes, you just constantly keep playing baseball.
364
Go to the batting
days a
cage.
year. You can have Christmas off.
Yeah, you can have Christmas
Christmas
off,
off.
but just don't open up the booze. Don't go do
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, his methamphetamines.
Is it meth?
I can't remember exactly what Hamilton. He was on every team. He was.
How much-
The Reds gave him the initial shot, and I appreciate that. I wish he was still in Cincinnati. 'cause that's
How
what
much drugs and alcohol can you buy with $125 million in L.A.?
Can we find a U.S. inflation calculator for that?
Yeah, usinflationcalculator.com is where I got all this info.
384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. Give us a shout, 414-1450, the Lotus Gunworks text line. Coming up here at 10:30, Chad Bishop of the Bowling Green Daily News. topofTime.wordpress.com. We're going to talk to him about Bobby Petrino going there to Western, and their bowl game taking on Central Michigan in the Little Caesars Bowl the day after Christmas. Their basketball team's playing Murray State coming up Sunday, tomorrow. That's an interesting game because obviously Murray State is a very good team, not just locally but nationally, with Isaiah Cannon, one of the top players in the country. So that'd be fun. That'd be a good little topic with him. But let's get to basketball, Mark. Let's do this. It's Saturday. It's game day. Louisville taking on Memphis. We mentioned it to Chip at 2:30. Kentucky taking on the powerful Fighting Lipscomb.
Whatever. What is Lipscomb's mascot, by the way?
I know. I'm looking at it right here. I don't want to say it. Okay, it's the Bisons.
It's the
I was
Bisons.
going to maybe think of something, a way to get a caller engaged, but we don't have it set up yet. But, yeah, it's Lipscomb Bisons. That's at 12:30. So we'll start with the Louisville game because that's obviously the more competitive, the more interesting one.
Yes, this
Memphis.
will be the 87th time that Louisville and Memphis have met on the hardwood.
Memphis State.
And really, it's kind of odd to play Memphis in December. You know what I mean? Because this is a game that all the great moments of the series kind of happened, late February and March. I mean, 1995, Memphis put Louisville out of the NCAA tournament in the first round. You had Darius Washington, the missed free throws.
Collapse.
Milt Wagner doing the W before his 2 free throws that won the game. Okay, I mean there are so many. And Paul Rogers will even tell you that he does play-by-play for Louisville.
He's great.
He tells you a story about that Milt Wagner game where a guy actually had a heart attack during that moment. It was that exciting.
That's ridiculous.
That people, like a man, actually had a heart attack at the game because it was that intense. And then we haven't even mentioned the switchblade incident. We haven't mentioned the fact that there was a Louisville player, and the video's been privatized on YouTube. Okay,
you can find it somewhere.
Well,
it's out there somewhere.
I had it.
Where is it?
But they've taken it down.
Oh.
They've taken it down, so I can't share the link with people anymore. But there's the 1992 fight. There was a swinging chair incident where a guy, actually a Memphis player, his name was Fred Horton of Memphis State, in 1971, March 8th, 1971, it grabbed a chair off the bench,
Bob Knight style,
and swung it wildly,
Bob Knight style,
in a fight. And actually got led away in handcuffs.
That's awesome.
Off the floor.
You're getting all this great information from the UofL Sheriff pregame of this game.
Right.
CardsandCats.com. I promise you, if you want to get great pregame coverage, this man beside me nails it.
I love history, especially in sort of classic type matchups like Louisville Memphis or Louisville Kentucky. We're obviously CardsandCats.com, so history is important to us, and the rivalries are important to us. But when it comes to Louisville Memphis, it's one of the classic college basketball rivalries.
Let's go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz on one guy that probably knows a little bit about classic rivalries, and there he is not on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. I'm sure Carolina. It was Carolina. He'll probably call right back.
I'm sure Adam didn't mess that. I'm sure that was Matt.
That was
obviously Matt.
That was definitely Matt. Definitely Matt. But again, KentuckySports.co. Get on, click on radio stream to watch the live show. I've been watching it, and it's right behind Matt and Adam. It's great. Highlights throughout what we're talking about. They're doing a good work. But yeah, Memphis. Do you think Chip made a great point of Josh Pastner not having beat a ranked team since taking over for Cal 4 years ago? Could this be the one? Louisville's going on the road. They do not have Gorgie Zhang.
They don't have Gorgie. They're going to be in the FedEx Forum, which that place will be packed today. And I really think that last year Will Barton went nuts, and he's a Portland Trail Blazer now. He went nuts in that game.
Is his brother still there?
And his brother is still there. He'll be there, but Louisville won't have Gorgie, but Memphis won't have Barton, and those were like the two outstanding performers from the game. Russ Smith also went absolutely crazy in last year's game. He had 24 points, which was a career high at the time, and 7 steals. So I'm looking at the backcourt. The backcourt is the same exact guys of Joe Jackson, Antonio Brown, and Chris Crawford of last year.
Joe Jackson is a talented player too.
Right. And so it's basically the same deal, except for now, instead of Peyton, Kyle, and Chris Smith, it's Peyton, Russ, and Wayne.
Which is definitely an upgrade.
Which is an upgrade. So I like the backcourt in this game for Louisville. The question is, who's hurt? Rick Pitino kind of came out in his press conference yesterday, and I was unable to attend because of work, but he said that we're a little banged up as a team. Which
hard, rough, and tough practices.
That
Put your helmet on.
Always freaks out Louisville fans, and he would not explain who or what or the extent of what the problems were. So we'll find out. The game's 2:30 today. We'll find out about an hour and a half before who's available, and so around 1 o'clock the news will start leaking. Is it Van Treese? We know it's a front court player. Could be Shane. Could be Montrez. Could be Zach.
You don't want it to be Zach.
Well, we don't want it to be any of them, to be honest with you. We've already got Gorgie down.
You got Gorgie.
So I'd like Louisville in this game, but I really want to find out who's hurt. What do we look like actually going in? So,
as an outsider's standpoint of this, I'm interested about the guard matchups. I think we're both. That's going to be the key to the game. Memphis has talented guards. They haven't blended as the best team together, but they have some. Joe Jackson was one of the top 20 players, I believe, coming out of high school. When he committed to Memphis, he was high on Kentucky with John Cal.
Right. Well, one thing that Memphis does do is turn a ball over. Their 14.4 turnovers a game.
That's impressive.
Is 184th in the country.
That's impressive.
You think it's impressive?
I'm obviously joking.
Okay, yeah, because and that's one of the things that Louisville does the best is turn you over.
Oh yeah.
So I like that sort of scenario, but Memphis is a better offensive team, I believe. I think they both rebound at the same basic rate. So I think this game is going to be very close, especially without Gorgie and with the question marks. I can't really make a prediction because I don't know who we're going to have because Rick wouldn't tell us yesterday.
2:37 tip-off, FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. You can catch it on the Fox Sports Network as Ron Thulin and Mike Minsky will get you through the play-by.
Okay.
Minsky.
Minsky.
It's Minsky with a G.
That's fun to say.
It's Jaminsky, but Minsky. But let's go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. My man from the Sunday show with myself, Weekend Sports Press, 10 to noon. Kelly Patrick is on the line. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Just listening to the show, enjoying it. Actually got to see you guys online, and man, you guys are good looking.
Kelly, really appreciate that.
I appreciate that too.
I'm expecting you to come in tomorrow looking like, Pat Riley, hair slicked back in the suit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kelly's.
Fortunately, I'm sorry. I was just listening. One of the things I wanted to comment on was, fortunately, Louisville won't have to face Will Barton today. He's on the Trailblazers. And I guess based on what you said, his little brother, Antonio, won't be playing either. Is that right?
No, Antonio's playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Antonio.
Okay.
Unless,
now you're scared.
Unless there's some kind of news bit of information that I have not caught up, because I don't follow Memphis that much. So it's
Who does?
But no, Antonio Barton is a key player for Memphis. He should start today. Probably will match up against Russ Smith.
Another thing I wanted to comment on was heard you all comparing, playing Major League Baseball versus playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
I got my 3.5-year-old son, Johnny, and if he, asked my advice, I would say, Johnny, go be a Major League Baseball player. You get to play for 20 years, even if it ends up being in the minors. You don't have the injury risk. So in my mind, I feel pretty strongly it's a no-brainer that baseball is the better path.
Well, there are more spots, more professional baseball spots in baseball. They care more about your development in baseball. I think I was talking about more from a Playboy perspective. If you're going to be like Tom Brady, if you're going to be at the apex of your career for a long time, it's better to be a stud football player than it is to be a stud baseball player. But if you're going to be marginal and you're gonna struggle to stay in the league, obviously Major League Baseball and baseball as a sport is much better for a young person who's going to choose what sport they're going to play.
I got two responses to what you say, Kelly. First is, I think golf. You need to tell Johnny Patrick, to play golf. That is a longevity sport that you can make bank in and not even be a pro. You can be in the Hooters tour.
Kelly's kid is Johnny Patrick.
Yes.
That's the funniest. He's a New Orleans Saint.
Johnny Patrick. No, golf is where it's at, and I would recommend to him to probably just go down the banking line with your jeans.
Yes, I agree.
I'll have to take that advice. I'm really enjoying the show, guys. Looking forward to Louisville beating up on Memphis today. Hoping that there's no injuries that we don't really know about that are too serious.
Yeah.
But it should be a good day tonight. I'll get off the line, but first tonight there's a 122-pound bout between Nonito Denari, a Filipino, like the 5th overall boxer in the world, is fighting tonight. Filipino versus Mexican, Jorge Arce. So it should be a good matchup tonight on the boxing front. So I love the show, guys. Keep it
Hold
up.
on, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly, I want to get some reaction. I know you're a big boxing guy. What did you think about Bob Arum last week? Kind of telling a story about Jim Brown wanting a fight against Muhammad Ali. I mean, did you catch that? I think Kelly may have dropped off the line, but since
got scared.
But since I teased it, basically Bob Arum is a big boxing promoter. Told a story about Muhammad Ali that I just found extremely fascinating. Basically, Jim Brown said, "I can fight. I want to get into boxing, and I want to fight Ali for $5 million." And so Bob Arum was going to promote the fight. Jim Brown, it was going to be basically a sideshow, to make money. But before Ali wanted to agree to the fight, he said, "I want to meet Jim Brown, and I want to see, if he's got anything." So Jim Brown and Ali met in London, England, and Ali said, "Well, let me see what you got." And Jim Brown's like, well, I think I can whip you. And Ali's like, well, let's go right now. And so without gloves, Jim Brown starts swinging at Ali, and you know how fast Muhammad Ali was at the time. Well, he's kind of bouncing around, dancing, and this is totally unrecorded, you know, just story from Bob Arum. Well, anyway, Ali finally had enough of, you know, dodging Jim Brown's swings and just gave him a quick 1-2. So Jim Brown went down, and
Down goes Brown.
And then he was not interested in that fight any longer, and he wasn't interested in boxing as a whole. So I love that story because Jim Brown's one of the toughest people to ever wear shoes.
Yes,
and Ali just dropped him with a quick 1-2.
Kelly loves boxing, and he does a lot of posts on KentuckySports.co about it. And he's trying to, and we're trying to bring back the boxing around Kentucky and Louisville because it's a passion around here, and you know it's a great history. The only city with 4 heavyweight champions to come out, and that is Louisville. Of course, Earl Heyman, our band, who is going to get his pro card within a month.
He's going to be the heavyweight champion.
He wants to fight in the Yum Center and get the 5th heavyweight championship right here in Louisville.
That would be fantastic.
I hope so because I'll be right there ringside watching him knock people out.
You're going to be his cut man.
Oh my God, you're not lying. I know we need to hit a break here. Before we do so, it's Christmas, Mark, getting very quick. How far? Today's the 15th. 10 days.
10 days till Christmas. 9 shopping days remain.
9 shopping days. 8.5. You know, close.
How many gifts have you bought?
0.
0?
Yeah. All my gifts come from the heart. But I will say, your kids, you know, they want to hear from Santa. You know, they love Santa. Matt has everybody here at KentuckySports.co except for me.
Santa's really busy right now.
Santa's busy.
So he gets all his stuff faster.
On a phone.
On the phone.
On SendSantaACall.com, you can choose from 3 different types of calls to send your little one from Santa Claus. For only $4.99, you can have Santa remind your little ones to stay on the nice list by selecting a Be Good message by entering in a behavior that they need to correct. Visit SendSantaCall.com, enter the donation code BBBS, that is Big Brothers Big Sisters, at the checkout, and portion of the proceeds will go to Big Brothers Big Sisters. That's SendASantaCall.com, or access the site by clicking on the Santa from our website, 1450thesportsbuzz.com. And again, don't forget to enter BBBS as the donation code at the checkout to get that to fully go in effect. Big Brothers Big Sisters. Great, that 1450, Duke and Ryan, man.
It's a great cause.
Great cause, they got to
get something out of it.
Together. You get something out of it. $4.90, $5. I mean, most of the proceeds are going to go to that. So I mean,
you get to write it off your taxes.
You get to write off your taxes. So Matt, you should have probably already did the call. Your son would have loved to hear from Santa himself. So do that. Let's go to our break. 10:30 coming up quickly, which means the Bowling Green Daily News. Chad Bishop joined us. We'll be right back here in the Weekend Sports Buzz.
This is the Weekend Sports Buzz with Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker. Call in on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
You remember the days we built these paper mountains, then sat and watched them burn.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker, the two guys from cardsandcats.com, KentuckySports.co. Go on there, check it out. I do want to say you also need to get on livingforless.org while you're pulling up our sweet websites. Great deals around the southern Indiana, Kentucky, and area. Here's a good example. Buy 2 Angio's gift certificates for $15. Get 1 free mystery $15 gift certificate. I mean, you don't even know where it could be. It could be such a special.
Right.
It could be awesome. Bistro 42 in Prospect, Roosters, Goose Creek Diner, Boomba's Pizza.
If you're gonna do Christmas shopping, why wouldn't you check livingforless.org before you got into your car and started driving around town? Why wouldn't?
I mean, $40 value for $15.
I'm not a math major, but that sounds like $25.
I'm far from a math major, and I love saving money.
Who doesn't?
Who does not? I know some people don't, but I absolutely love it. So it's livingforless.org. Get on there, check it out. It's great stuff. I promise you, you will find deals. Take your sweetheart out to dinner. You'll find a good little deal on dinner. There we go. Got it out there. Matt, do we have our guest on here? The Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. We ready to go? Looks like we're. Well, yeah. Brian Insider's been on hold. Let's go to Brian the Insider.
Okay.
Brian, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I heard you guys talk about high school basketball. You do a great job covering the high school sports scene. I appreciate it. And just thought your listeners might want to know there's a huge game in Louisville today between, you mentioned Ballard, number 2 in the Vice ratings, number 1 in the AP in Kentucky. And they take on number 1 team from Indiana, Indy Cathedral, Valley High School.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, we love the high school, and with Dave and Vite magazine, that's a pretty big game. Are you a big follower of the high school sports scene as well?
Yeah, I am.
What Louisville? I got to ask you, Sugar Bowl, yes or no? Win or loss? Are you going as well?
No, I'm not going to the Sugar Bowl. More of a UK fan, I guess.
This is not Brian the Insider. Somebody told me wrong. This is just Brian. Excuse me.
Just a guy named Brian.
This is another Brian. See, the producers are really throwing us off, Brian, now that I know that. So you're a UK guy. Let me ask you this. Mark Stoops, are you excited about that hire?
Yeah, very excited. I would have liked to see Petrino just for the excitement. But with Neil Brown coming in and Kentucky going to more of a non-traditional offense with a defensive-oriented coach, it's really the right decision. And the recruiting is the main thing, and that trumps everything. And these guys are getting out and doing a great job.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, Brian, we really do appreciate the call. Check us out tomorrow, 10 to noon.
Absolutely. And what Brian was saying is that the coaches that Mark Stoops is bringing in, they're extremely well-tuned recruiting, guys. He's really putting together a top-notch staff for football. And one of the other things is that Kentucky's they're paying their assistant coaches. It's their 2 offensive defensive coordinators are going to collectively make about $500,000 than Sanders and Minter.
Yeah, it was over the $1 million mark, which like you said, Sanders and Minter were at the 800,000 area.
Right. And I think that's great. If you're Kentucky for a long time, you have not made the investments that you needed to make into football program, and now it seems like that they're doing that with the coaches. We'll see. I know that they're working on that with the facilities, and I think that an announcement is forthcoming on a facilities upgrade and improvement for the football program. So, and probably athletics overall. But I'm excited for that for Eli Capilouto and Mitch Barnhart to kind of announce those plans. We may have to wait until the first of the year for that to kind of come, but. I'm excited for Kentucky. I'm a Louisville fan, obviously, but
you're a fan of the whole state being amazing.
But I am, and I like it when Kentucky football is really good, and I think Mark Stoops is the hire that needed to happen.
I will say on this, since we're on the topic, we're going to go to basketball in UK. Ryan Timmons, a very high 4-star out of Lex Cathar, or in the Lexington area. Can't remember exactly the school. He just tweeted out, headed to UK, then the game at 12.
Nice.
That's huge because obviously the new staff and Brown and Elliott have talked to him already that he's become a major target for Kentucky. And while we're on that, James Quick, Hatcher, they will both visit Kentucky. I know they're not going to be Cats.
I wouldn't think so.
But it's huge that they will take a visit. That's already the pool of Stoops and his staff. If Joker and them are still there, they aren't going to visit.
Right,
They're not visiting. I like what they did. That's just good that they're in. I just want you never know.
Did they offer Dalen Dawkins?
I don't know, but they need to.
But if they did, that might get those guys thinking a little bit more. But we'll see.
You never know. You never know. But basketball side of things here, Kentucky's taking on Lipscomb at 12:30. When we talk to Chip, I think my main aspect and what I want to see from today's game is Ryan Harrow. That he's my main target today. If he's on the court, I believe the last Saturday, it was 25 minutes, 8 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover.
Yes, and
25 minutes.
When Ryan Harrow plays with confidence, I mean he's incredibly talented and effective. It's that Ryan Harrow that isn't sure of himself that makes Kentucky not as he doesn't give them the service that he really needs to.
Mm-hmm.
When he plays kind of timidly, without confidence, not strong with the basketball. That's when Kentucky can't reach their potential. But when Ryan Harrow plays with confidence, they can be anything. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. I'm looking at the highlights now we got going on the KentuckySports.co, the live TV show. I'm just going to say a TV show. But there's Archie Goodwin going up, throwing down dunks, talking about a hardcore dunker. Another guy I like to watch every game is Nerlens Noel. He hustles left and right all game, every game. I'm a big Nerlens fan. He's up there high. There's Willie Cauley-Stein throwing down hard. But I'm a big Nerlens guy. I know he's, I believe, 3rd in the mock draft already. I think he will go, but he's fit in for Anthony Davis very, very well.
Very well. I think he's more on-the-ball defender, more than Anthony Davis. He could almost guard 2 guys.
Dude, do you see his steals?
But yeah.
He's leading. He's up there in the Rajon Rondo steals with Kentucky record.
Is he really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. I did like Archie Goodwin's comment yesterday. A reporter asked him, who's the most competitive person on the team? And Archie Goodwin said, me. And then it said, oh, really? It's not you? And he goes, if anybody else has told you on this team that they're more competitive than me, they're lying. I am the most competitive person.
I totally believe it when he shows raw emotion.
I
on
love
the court.
that.
I love that type of guy. So I like Kevin Ware. People don't like Kevin Ware because he might be cocky. People hated DeMarcus Cousins because he was super cocky. I'm a very, very cocky fan. I'm a fan of the guys like that. I'm a Terrell Owens fan. I've said it multiple times. Chad Ocho Cinco, whatever his name is these days. I like that type of athlete.
I like, people may not like Kevin Ware because he can't shoot the ball, but he plays incredible defense.
He can slash like no other.
Oh, he can slash. He can get to the free throw line, draw fouls. He's a great defender. He's long. Archie Goodwin, I think, to be honest, he's one of the best guards in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen too many guys that I would really want over him. He can make Kentucky win a lot of games that they probably
when he gets the
shouldn't
ball
win.
in the open court and he sees space, he's going to the rack and he's either drawing a foul, which he's probably the best in the country at doing, or he's dunking on you.
Or he is, and he hits the free throws at a high rate too.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. He was about, I believe it was 6 for 13 against Baylor, 6 for 12.
Yeah, but those are 2. That's one game.
I know, but that would have won you game.
He shoot about 70%.
Yeah, he's a freshman. I'm okay with that. I want Old Man Mays, Julius at the line. He's pure bottoms.
Old Man Mays.
Old Man Mays at the line. I'm a big fan of Old Man Mays. 2 guys that can knock down the free throws were on ESPN2 or U over the week. The twins, Aaron and Andrew. Did you catch any of that? I watched this game.
I did not.
It was awesome. I believe they were 10, or as a combined, they missed 1 free throw and they've shot like 22 combined.
Incredible.
That's just, I can't wait to see those guys.
And speaking of, you were talking about how you don't know why they would take a visit. Why Quick would visit Kentucky after he had announced.
Yeah.
He announced it somewhere else. Well, a great example of why you take all your visits is because of Andrew Wiggins' visit to Florida State.
That's true.
Because of what went down there, we'll always just have to imagine and assume. But based on the tweets and the photos that came out of that, I gotta imagine that was probably the best example of take all your visits for college ever. Because
I would take one to Hawaii. We talked about this last week on the Sunday show.
Where would you take all your visits? So you get 5.
If you get 5, I would go to Kentucky. Obviously, that's just the boom boom. Going to
You've been to Kentucky.
I don't care. I'm going again.
You would take an official visit to Kentucky.
An official visit. I'm going to go hang out.
Well, that's a waste.
You're a waste. James Quick's going to Louisville. Why? To visit. He's from Louisville.
I don't know why.
That must be a waste.
I wouldn't take take an official visit.
I would
to
go
Louisville.
to Kentucky because I'm going to go to Kentucky if they're on my list. I'm going to take a visit probably to USC, probably to Florida, definitely Hawaui.
You would go to Gainesville, Florida?
No, that's a good point. I would go to Miami.
There you go.
Miami.
Now we're talking.
Hawaii. No, without a doubt, Hawaii.
Well, Hawaii won't allow you to take an official visit there until you're committed.
So that's they nail you. They're out.
I'm
going to go to Texas.
To go UCLA and USC.
No, I'm not going to UCLA. I hate UCLA.
Okay,
I'd go up north. I'd go north somewhere just to visit it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe Syracuse just to see it in New York.
You don't want to see Syracuse?
I don't want to see Syracuse. I just want to see the city.
Well, that's like 4 hours away.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, who's in the local New York City off the top of your head?
St. John's.
Going to St. John's.
Okay.
Just to see the city.
Okay, there you go.
There's my 5. Hey, you asked.
I like it.
I'd still try. Maybe I would commit to Hawaii and then decommit just to take that visit.
I'm committed to Hawaii.
I am committed to Hawaii. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. We were going to talk to Chad Bishop of Bowling Green Daily News, but he seems to be a little busy right now. No big deal. We'd definitely talk to him.
I wanted to ask him about the Little Caesars Bowl, and then also the hiring of Bobby True. We covered that with Chip Cosby. We wanted to get a guy that was kind of there on the ground, but it is Saturday morning, and maybe he slept in. Maybe he had too much to drink last night. I don't know. He was in the Bible Belt. So maybe not. So,
whoa, yeah, I'm kind of lost you on that. But what do you think about that bowl game? Since Chad's not going to tell you, what do you think about Western and Central Michigan? I think Western's going to take it handily.
I like their chance.
Bobby,
I like their chances. I don't know who's favored, but I think it's a Detroit, right? Detroit,
yes.
Michigan.
Yes.
The day after Christmas. Probably the worst timed bowl game. I know that
Bobby doesn't care about that timing.
Well, he's not going to coach. I mean, you know what I mean?
That's right. He's not coaching.
He's going to evaluate the coaches, which is another reason why we won't find out about Bob Beatty and his status until after the bowl game, because he's not going to remove any coaches until after the bowl. So we're going to have to wait until after the bowl game and before the spring semester at Trinity starts. So that's kind of your window for something to happen. But I really... Like last year, Louisville was in the Belk Bowl on the 27th.
Yeah.
Get
your Belk Bowl tickets. Get them.
Oh, God. And the phone call that came out last week. But
awesome.
Now you got Teddy Bridgewater calling you for the Sugar Bowl.
I want Santa to call me on Santa.com.
Santa.com?
Yeah.
I like it. But that was the worst timed bowl game because it was like 2 days after Christmas. You had to leave on the 26th. I don't know how these folks are going to get up there. I mean, hopefully it's a night game and people will just arrive that day. I mean, if you're trying to sell hotel reservations, trying to do something for your city, you don't have a bowl game on the 26th of December.
I just got a tweet in from Chris Hatfield, who's going to come on the show tomorrow from Inside the Ville. InsideTheVille.com. He St. John's with a question mark.
St. John's.
Hey, Chris, I know you're still listening. I'm just going to see the big city.
There you go.
The country redneck hasn't been up to the big city yet. That's all it was about. That's why I'm going to go to Texas, so I can go hunting for a couple days.
You want to go hunting?
Going to go to Texas just to take. Hey, Mac Brown, let's go to the farm.
What would you hunt in Texas?
Big deer.
Big deer. We have more white-tailed deer here in Kentucky.
No, we do, but that is also there's more gigantic bucks in Texas. I can walk outside of somebody's back porch on their ranch, and there he is. I'm just going to blast Bambi.
Well, whose ranch would you walk out of?
Ted Nugent's.
Ted Nugent? You know Ted Nugent?
Duh.
Who do you know in Texas?
I'm going to take a visit to Mac Brown's farm when I go to visit Texas.
I didn't know you played football.
I played all. I'm going to go visit Rick.
I
know. I'm going to go visit Rick Barnes because he's not leaving anywhere.
No.
And I'm going to say, Rick, I need to go hunting. That's
all
it is.
Actually, Rick Barnes has like the most locked up contract in college basketball. Like even if they wanted to fire him, even Texas couldn't afford to.
384-1450. I want to know where your 5 visits would be. If anyone was calling, tell me, if you could go back to your day and visit 4 or 5 places, where would you visit, Mark? Where would you visit? You didn't.
Where would I visit?
Where would you go?
I would probably. I would probably do. I don't know. This would be tough. I probably would do LSU because I'm interested in that.
Because you haven't been to New Orleans in 2 times this season.
I've never been. So
That's right, you didn't go.
now, and I would go to Texas because that would be crazy.
Why would you go to Texas?
Because it's Austin, Texas, and they have a great music and.
What about
good city.
Florida State?
Nah, Tallahassee's not. I mean, no.
Co-eds? Andrew
well,
Wiggins had a great time.
Yeah, maybe. I'm thinking of like good places to like go and see. I would go to UNLV.
UNLV, nice.
You know what I mean?
That
I would go to
St. John's,
Vegas.
you might be deleted.
St. John's. I can't believe you said that. I don't know. I've never really given it any thought. I just kind of came to my head.
It is 384-1450. Let's go to our last break here. We'll come back. We'll break it down a few more, talk about this basketball games and some random topics right here on the Weekend Sports Buzz.
To survive.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're back here, the final segment of the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankbaker. Great show, Mark.
I'm excited for this Memphis game, man. I'm telling you
Are
what.
you excited?
I'm excited.
Getting close. Where are you,
I'm very
where are you watching
excited.
at home?
Very excited.
Sitting on the couch?
I don't
enjoying
know. I'm waiting for a text message to find out.
This
I got
guy's popular.
I got a couple options. I'm gonna weigh the best ones.
That's always the best. Kind of like me weighing options of St. John's in Texas.
You
know, my visits.
Bobby Petrino weighed his options.
I might go to Western just to hang out with Bobby.
Heck yes.
Heck yes.
Bobby, where are the interns at?
Bobby, where are the employees at?
Right.
Chris retweeted of his choices. He basically said, I'd probably choose the worst teams imaginable just so I can be a star and see my draft stock skyrocket.
I love it.
I love it, too. It's a genius idea. He's a smart guy. He's going to join us tomorrow on the Weekend Sports Buzz as well, so you got to listen in.
Chris would visit Fairleigh Dickinson.
I do want to say tomorrow we're going to bring Dave back on, Dave Spelker, Right Magazine. If you're listening in, you have to listen tomorrow because you have a chance to win Harlem Globetrotter tickets.
Ooh.
Yep.
I like
we got
it.
a couple Harlem Globetrotter tickets. They're coming into the city here.
The Washington Generals.
The Washington Generals. It's going to be a fun little thing. We're going to throw out a question, so you have to tune in tomorrow. We'll be in the first hour to give you time to answer.
I probably am the most disappointed person always with the Globetrotters because I always root for the underdogs when I don't care.
Always lose.
And Generals always lose. But my patience did pay off when FDR did win the hot dog challenge this summer in the Washington Nationals. He was on like 80 game losing streak in the hot dog challenge, and they finally let FDR win.
The hot dog challenge. I'm going to get in that. I can murder some ballpark Franks.
Well, they're hot dogs that run around the stadium.
Oh, the race.
Yeah, the race.
The race. Whoa, sketchy noises.
I don't know what that is, but
we okay, guys? Let's go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line because our man Carolina Steve. See, is this us or him?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, I just felt like there for a minute. It didn't feel comfortable. I felt like I was out of the nest, and I need to get back into the nest. But anyway,
the nest.
Yeah, the nest, like a safe place.
Safe spot, skate spot. Good.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Let's go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Carolina Steve is on the line. Carolina, how you doing?
Just fine. I want to say you guys made a great recommendation last week. Handsome Jimmy Claus was fantastic, and I had to tell Greg Blum that he made a better looking elf than Uncle Si did.
That is awesome. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, the Handsome Claus show last Sunday night at 11. You're not kidding. It was a fun and entertaining show. I did watch it. It was great. I'm glad we got to kind of promote it over the weekend.
Yeah, it's good and everything, and I'm just as happy as a pig in slop right now because my boys down at Duck Dynasty got him a football coach there at Louisiana Tech who likes to duck hunt.
That's very true.
Oh, man, that's going to be great. I hope he makes an appearance on the show.
Skip Holtz taking the job. As soon as I saw that yesterday, Carolina, you're the first person I thought of. I was waiting for the day to come around because I knew you would call to talk about that. That's awesome. I think he could do good there.
He is, and I don't know if y'all know or not, give a lot of money to Louisiana Tech.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Named after Field.
Yes.
And everything. So I'm interested in it. Gonna be great. The thing is, and Tyler, you're gonna like this. Whenever the team down the road goes to Nashville to play Western Kentucky, I will have a blue hat and blue shirt on because I think Bobby Petrino is bad for coaching.
Damn, Carolina, I can't I'm not on any side of the fence.
Right.
With Bobby Petrino, really. I'm glad Carolina is going to. Carolina, how often do you put on the old best blue and white? It doesn't happen much, does it?
Well, I don't quite sometimes I put on something that's a lot lighter than that. For the team from Chapel Hill.
Yep.
That's Billy Goat for the mascot. And
everything. But there's times like it was tough for me. I went to see South Carolina play Kentucky this year, and it was hard for me to play. It was hard for me to pull for South Carolina as much as those boys out there were playing just as hard as they could at UK. And last year, I want to claim I'm the reason that they broke the losing streak to Tennessee, because I was down there pulling as hard as I could for UK to beat them Volunteers.
That's great. I'm hoping that Kentucky can and will beat Bob Petrino and the Hilltoppers this year. You can't go 2 years in a row. Carolina, as always, we appreciate the call.
Okay, talk to y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.
All right,
Thanks.
Carolina.
Hey, I mean, Bob Petrino's a polarizing guy, and I think there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way that Carolina does. I know that a couple of my Western Kentucky people that I talk to, it was kind of a mixed bag. It was like, we're really excited. We know we're going to win football games, and we're going to continue to be good after Willie Taggart left. And then other people were like, I've not liked this person. And they may come to love him, but they may not have enough time to do that either. So one thing we haven't mentioned, Tyler, in this broadcast was the 7 Catholic schools leaving the Big East to form the Big Priest Conference.
Now is that the Mark Blankenbaker terminology?
No, that's a Brett
that
McMurphy.
Okay.
Which I love that, the Big Priest.
The Big Priest.
That's good. I think it's pretty awesome. They're going to leave the Big East Conference and try and form with several members of the Atlantic 10 to create their own league, which I think this is something that needed to happen 2 to 3 years ago, to be honest. And in the wake of everything happening, a lot of them referenced the addition of Tulane, and not really considering what that does to the league from a basketball perspective, and I don't even think it really makes sense from a football perspective. So, I think that was kind of the final straw for the Big East. I think Mike Oresco probably did a great job on the back end, but this is a house of falling cards, and really that started with John Marinato really not doing anything for a long time, not having a proactive. So one of the best basketball leagues that we've ever known is now over. I mean, this will be,
thank God,
this will be the last year that we know this conference, and Louisville may be in the Big East in the next season. We'll see what happens, because there is a 27-month dissolution thing that they have to go through. So I think Louisville will be in the Big East next year.
Patino commented on this, saying online, basically it's a tragedy of what happened to the conference. He's glad for what the Catholic schools, what happened, but he's worried for UConn, Cincinnati,
South
Florida. He's worried.
It's really worrisome for them, and because the basketball schools will be fine, but Boise State and San Diego State, they could decide that they don't want to join the Big East. They could say, we're happy here. We'll pay you whatever we need to pay you. We don't want to get involved. I mean, that's something that they may decide to do for their future, and they just released the home and away opponents for next year. And if I'm Boise State, I'm staying in the Mountain West. I'm staying as far away from this, and I'm so happy that Louisville is in the ACC, moving forward from this. But because I would be, this would be terrible news, right now. If you didn't have that in your back pocket, it would be one of the worst, news stories that you can have. So, it's great news to be in the ACC. I think it's in Louisville's best interest to wait the additional year and allow the ACC to enforce its $50 million buyout on Maryland to prevent further, defections like Florida State, Clemson, and I hear about
out there.
There's a lot of rumors out there about maybe this conference realignment isn't finished, and some of it may come from what's left of the Big East with UConn, Cincinnati, but then the next move, it seems, will be the ACC.
It could be interesting that Louisville could, a couple years be in the same boat.
We jump from one sinking ship to the next, but I think right now it's a stable landscape. I think we may see another team or two, but it's a 14-team league right now, and as long as it's not a football school like a Florida State, then really it can hold on to a lot of its identity that it has right now. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. well, luckily you and your fans and the university, they don't have to worry about that for at least a couple years for sure. Maybe maybe in the long run. I'm trying to pull up the college basketball slate for today. There's a few good games out there. Obviously, Louisville-Memphis is one of the better ones. You have Indiana versus Butler. It will in-state rivalry. West Virginia versus Michigan. The battle of the former coaches at each school.
I like that.
That's very interesting to me
I
as well.
like that.
5 Florida versus 8 Arizona.
Yeah,
probably the
Michigan.
highlight.
Back to that Michigan game. Michigan's going to absolutely destroy West Virginia.
Michigan's good. Number 3.
Yes,
they're very good. I've watched
West
them play
Virginia
twice
is
now.
not.
West Virginia is not good. They've ever since the Pitch-Schnagel days, they've definitely dropped it down and down. And I guess I can't really say that they did go to the Final Four when knocked out UK. That was a very good ball club. But Bob Huggins, the Thuggins.
They're not the same team.
They're not the same team.
No.
But he did get a contract, so he could build it. Obviously, Louisville, Memphis, down here.
How many points is Kentucky favored by to Lipscomb today? How many points do they need to win by for you to be happy?
1 point or 30 points.
1 to 30.
I like
So
victories.
if they win to 35, you're not going to be happy.
Nope, no, 1 to 30. No,
1 to 30.
I would like to see a double-figure win with that. You would want as your team to beat a smaller opponent as well. So, and other than that, there's Notre Dame, Purdue, just a local kind of game, and Creighton, California. But
Notre Dame, Purdue, classic matchup.
Classic matchup.
Just local kind of game.
Yeah, it is. It's just a local kind of game. That's all. Tomorrow, the Weekend Sports Buzz, myself and Kelly Patrick, from 10 to noon, we have Farrell Elliott, 11 o'clock. Fantasy football is almost over. We're getting close with Farrell.
How are you doing in your league?
That's over. It's been.
I'm in the semifinals this week.
Yeah,
right
you're
now.
also in a garbage basement league, and I'm in a high-dollar professional league.
Yeah, whatever.
And then Chris Hatfield, who's just tweeting us in from InsideTheVille.com, will join us talking Louisville Sugar Bowl. Kendrick Haskins, Wave 3. My guy from the Montrell Jones co-host Power Hour on 1450, 12 to 1 on the radio right here, except for Wednesdays. He might be joining us as well tomorrow, talking a little bit of high school basketball because he's, touchdown Friday nights. I don't know exactly what it's called for basketball, but, it's going to be a full show tomorrow.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be fantastic. So you gotta tune in. Of course, Dave Spelker, we're going to give away some Globetrotter tickets, so you have to tune in tomorrow.
We'll actually have games to talk about on Sunday.
We will.
You
We'll
and
have
Kelly
some
are
games.
lucky.
I know, it's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Sunday shows, and I love this. Love being on 1450. You got to stick with us because coming up next from 11 to 12, D-Huff and Nasty Show.
D-Huff and Nasty.
Yep, it's an interesting and very entertaining show. The new guys here on 1450. Check them out. It's Saturdays. And Mark,
No, I'm good, buddy.
you're good.
Hey.
I'm good. Matt, Adam, good work today. Check us out, cardsandcats.com, KentuckySports.co, and 1450 to sportsbuzz.com. See you tomorrow.